because like you said, a lot of things, people are getting hit with different things like in a minute. You know what I mean? Especially when you're on social media. So how do you stay ahead of the game? You expose yourself as much as you can by creating the content. So podcast is just another content to that.
And you know what's crazy now 10 years ago, this wasn't even a job for somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's Monday. We are back. Welcome back to the IQ Project. My name is Josh. I'm right here with my co-host Rickytatt and our other guy Romeoshades.
Damn, other guy.
Just fucking with you.
And the chair filler.
And the chair filler. Usually when that chair's empty, we get Romeo here. No, I'm just kidding. He's been a big part of this podcast so far, so we're glad to have him. We also have on the other mic Carlos, our media guy.
He's mic'd up today?
Yeah.
What up?
He talks too much, so we have to get him on mic. This podcast.
Hey, glad you didn't die from COVID, dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait. We're gonna talk about that right now. Hold on.
Sorry.
I gotta do my little
Your
sponsorship. Yeah.
Oh.
So brought to you by Iconic Tattoo Studio. For any tattoo needs, please hit us up on Instagram, iconic_tattoo studio. You can just message each artist there directly for any tattoo you need.
All right, enough promo, bro. Let's start the conversation, bro.
Yeah, actually, let's go back to Carlos.
Good point, Carlos. Talk to us.
How was COVID, bro? You just got COVID.
Let's see. It was the worst sickness I've ever had.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Was that your first time ever having it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had headaches, throwing up, diarrhea, everything. Everything you could possibly think of a bad fever, that was it.
People say that you feel like you got run over by a truck. You know, like
like body aches.
Body aches,
A lot of body aches.
Did you have body aches when you got it? Because you got it when it first came out.
I first went, I got body aches.
Yeah.
It felt like all your joints were hurting.
Yeah.
Like it pierces through everything.
Yeah. For me, I got body aches for one day, but I lost my taste and smell for 3 months.
Same.
No, I kept my taste and smell.
That's good.
You're a lucky one.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Yeah, and at seventh, 8th day, I couldn't really breathe, bro. I was like,
Oh yeah, I remember
it was
that.
restricted, and that was the scary part because I was one of the first in our circle to get it.
Yeah.
Especially when it was like brand new. Like when it was,
I was like, damn, dog, I'm gonna die.
Damn,
It actually was like I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I told him I'm gonna die because I have asthma. When I get sick, I get asthma. But we powered through it, so
Yeah.
we're here. You know?
I mean, some people, Wendy, my sister, and my brother, they both lost weight from it. I fucking gained weight from
Lucky
it.
bastards. I gained weight too.
well, thank God you're still with us, Carlos.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, I know, man.
Could have done this without you.
Yeah, we'd have to have Romeo back there. And, I don't know, man. I don't know his video editing skills.
Well, anyways, besides that, it's been an interesting week. We just had the grand opening as well. Right?
That was good. That was real good.
We had a lot of people. Thank you guys for coming out. It was very unexpected to have that many people to support us, to be honest. I honestly, when we set it up, I was like, we're just going to have like 10, 20 people come in. Should be fine, right?
I was calculating about 40 people.
40?
Yeah, give or take.
What about you?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see so many people.
It was good.
We had close to 100 people in here. Yeah. You know what I mean? We had a jumper for the kids, a little
that's tight.
booth. Was it a photo booth?
We had a photo booth. Shout out to Stellar Photo Booth Rentals for providing it last minute. So appreciate that. And
DJ.
We had a DJ, Rock and Roller. Shout out to Rock and Roller for doing the mixing and
you guys had a bartender too.
Shout out to my primo Ivan Lokes for bartending and providing
everyone fucked
the good.
Pedos.
Huh?
Yeah, everyone bien pedos.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And the best part was the tacos.
Tacos.
Everybody was talking about those tacos.
Dude, those crispy tortillas with the crisp. Oh,
West
shout out to
Tacos
my compadre. West Tacos. Find them on Instagram. Amazing.
He's actually done an interview with us right here.
Yeah.
We're just going to try to get him again because he's done a lot of it's been about a year since we talked to him on the show.
Almost 2
years, and he has done a lot since then.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So he's grown.
People always say like you can do so much in a year, so that'd be cool to hear.
No, yeah, I definitely want to hear a story about what he had to do, especially during COVID. He grew through a lot through COVID. You know what I mean?
He was creative too. He adapted. Remember, he was doing the prep meals. So definitely, he's a hustler.
Speaking about hustler, I mean, you can hustle in different ways, like making a podcast and stuff, you know. All right, guys, you guys gonna do me like this? I'm like, where's it going with this? I'm going with the topic. I'm trying to transition it into the topic.
It was a little too early.
Let me explain this. Let me explain this a little bit. So yesterday we had a client. Ricardo had a client, and they were talking back and forth, like arguing. Man, I was over there in my corner. Ricardo's in this corner. I'm telling the story.
Oh, trying to make it juicy, bro.
Right? I just hear back to back, you know, like Ricardo's going at it, he's going at it. I was just like, what are they talking about? So like, I just put my ear out there, you know, like hear him a little bit. And Ricardo's explaining. Ricardo explained, was like, you should do a podcast. I was like, why do you want to do a podcast? You know, and I just got us thinking, like, okay, a lot of people have a lot of things to say. You know what I mean?
Everybody has a lot of things to say. And a lot of conversations about what they know.
Yeah.
So that's why podcast is a great avenue for anybody. And that's what I was trying to tell him. Like, you know, he's very passionate about hip hop, but in the 90s hip hop, he doesn't like the new hip hop. And I was like, well, you know, that's just your opinion, bro, you know? So talk about it. You know, there's going to be a crowd of people that are going to love that, and they're going to go, you know, follow you, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why. But we got a little ahead of ourselves, man. You're not going to talk, you're not going to ask us how our weekend went. I want to talk about myself for a bit. Ding. Hey, put the little ding.
Since the last podcast, what has changed? What have you done?
Well, let's take it back a little bit.
Well, no, actually, you brought it up. The grand opening. I think that was that.
The grand opening was the biggest thing.
Again, let's thank everybody. Take our time. Thank everybody who showed up and who took the time on a Saturday,
especially
evening.
for all the beautiful gifts you guys brought.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we didn't expect that at all.
So
and we just received one again. That blue label.
Yeah, that's. No, and yeah, a lot of clients saw a lot of tattoos, and HB Media came and did
shout out to HB Media.
Anchor Mind, close your ears. HB Media came and did some filming for us, so we're yet to, you know, we're gonna see, you know, the video he's gonna make. He's doing it pretty soon, so it was just a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we're able to provide that, and I'm glad, and that shows that we are doing a good thing. We are building a community because, you know, people showed up. If they didn't show up, we would be like, well, you know, people don't really follow us like that heavy, you know. And I was really, really, really.
It's the power of social media. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these people, they only see us on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when they're here, it felt like they already knew us. It felt like family. You know?
Yeah.
It felt like a family party in a way.
Yeah. It just, you know, confirms our journey. You know, that we're doing the right thing, and people support us. And so it makes us go even harder now. You know, we're going harder. So
just seen Ricardo on the dance floor, bro. After you left,
getting down.
It's getting down to those 80 beats.
Oh yeah, the 80s, bro. I was on it with your
and
homies.
Manny.
Oh yeah,
Manny, the homie, and we're getting down, bro. You know, so good times, good times. Romeo, you're starting to, man. You impressed me the other day. Knocked out 5 tattoos.
Oh yeah, that's tired.
This guy's continuing. He's just starting to. You just stopped your $50 tattoos, right? We just let you started.
So he's not doing tattoos for a tip anymore. He's
actually gonna be charging like the minimum or shop minimum.
And up. Yeah.
And the reason for $50 tattoos was because I need to get in the gist of things, right? That's why it's $50.
No, just because we put a number up there.
Oh, okay.
You know, we could have started you with, you know, 0, but it was just so you can actually learn to transact after, you know. It's $50 and you get the money, and, you know, it's not just a free thing, because you were already ready to do a small tattoo because you learned fast, you know. Had you not been ready, then we would have just said tattoo for free for a while. So it was kind of like you put in that work to jump to that level.
Cool.
Plus, it always feels good to receive something for your work, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, $50 for the quality you were doing was a great deal. And obviously you had a lot of them, you know? And
those people took advantage.
No, and he impressed me the other day. Last Sunday, he did, you know, 5 tattoos, and I checked them all, and they're all solid lines, you know?
Not bad,
And small tattoos, obviously, you know.
Why couldn't you do that on my leg? Oh, so that's another thing. I let Romeo tattoo my leg for a bit.
Oh, yeah, while I was tattooing you, huh?
Ricardo's finishing my next piece on my leg, and we had Romeo was like, so I could test out how deep he's going on his clients and everything. It's pretty fucking deep. No, I'm just kidding. No, he did pretty good. But we were able to see how it heals, so you could get like a little, idea.
Idea of like shading, because it was shading what, a light tone,
A light tone.
like a
It was a
consistent light tone. Yeah.
To get a consistent shade, it's not as easy as it is, huh? As it looks.
I'm
It's
over here
hard.
used to like starting at one end and then blending or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is just has to be a consistent.
Like that consistent whipping.
Right. Yeah.
So right on, bro. Great job, man.
Thanks, man.
We'll
Appreciate
see.
it.
We'll see when you still gotta get another Pokemon.
Yeah, I have a big piece coming up, so I'm kind of excited for that. I'm trying to do my best to like study.
What are you doing?
I'm an angel on behind someone's neck,
Praying angel like this, but it's small.
like a cherub.
Don't get scared.
I was about to say, damn,
I'm like, yeah, it's a Mako angel.
oh.
Nah, it's a little like 4x4 black and gray piece.
Why you keep getting neck tattoos, bro?
I don't know. Everyone's neck tattoos.
You can say no, dog.
Yeah.
You can say I don't like that area,
I remember-
especially that area because there's a lot of bending and shit is hard. It
Remember,
moves
I told
too.
you guys when I was an apprentice, I said like whatever comes through that door and whatever people ask for, I'm gonna do it because I want to just tattoo.
I mean,
So,
you're trying to get every experience, right?
Here we are,
Yeah, definitely. You learn about finger tattoos with my friend.
Yeah, yeah.
You learn about the drunk life.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
that should be a story time when we have podcast for stories.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'll be the next one. Anyways, let's get back to the topic we were actually trying to talk about today. It was Roman brought it up a little earlier, but we
Yeah,
kind of
how
want to
we
just talk about the podcast life, like.
Prematurely said the topic.
So he's still working on it.
Yeah.
We just want to talk about the
Podcasting.
podcast life. See how honestly, like the Ricardo having the conversation with his client yesterday, really got us thinking about podcasts, like how we got started into it, why we started it, why should you start one, kind of thing, So, I mean, low key, I feel like this podcast has actually helped us each individually grow as a person, as an artist as well. Our communication skills, especially for me. I feel like I'm able to talk a little bit louder now because Ricardo keeps yelling at me because I don't talk loud enough.
Facts.
Fuck you. But yeah, I mean, for me personally, I feel like that's one of the biggest things. Like, I feel like I'm able to talk out more. You know what I mean? I don't know about you, Romeo.
Yeah. So like the benefits of being in a podcast.
Yeah, like how this has been, because out of everyone, you've been on this podcast the most from everybody else in the shop. We had the guys on here for about 3 episodes, but you're the one that comes consistently. I mean,
Right.
that's why we named you an official member for that chair now.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll celebrate later. But yeah, bro, how do you feel like it's since you started it? Like, you're really shy to be in. Have you seen some of your podcasts from?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember telling you guys like that's something I wanted to work on myself, is being able to speak to someone, just like being comfortable and not, self-conscious or anything.
Yeah.
So I feel like this kind of helped because it's like times 2, because you got people, both you guys staring at me, 3, and then also the cameras and stuff.
And then everyone on the internet.
And then everyone on the internet. Yeah. You gotta be, you just gotta be comfortable with yourself, really,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be getting into podcasts, and because or else it's gonna reflect, like once you're like talking, you start trying to use big words or trying
But I
to.
feel like also
to
the
sound
more
smart.
the more you
Yeah.
do it, the easier it gets too. I mean, remember our first podcast where we sat up in front of the TV
With the iPhone.
with the iPhone and we talked about
And we're just staring into the fucking little lens.
yeah, and then we had 2 cameras set up and we're like, which one do we look at?
Yeah.
So he's looking over
Like
here
this.
and I'm
Welcome to
looking
our
that way.
podcast, guys. And then we had the little mic, the little
Yeah.
wired mic right here.
Yeah.
Remember that?
No,
We
at
had-
first we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
At first
That's
we
how
did. At first we didn't. For
No?
the first podcast, we didn't have that. We just we set up an iPad, I think.
But it was pretty good.
Yeah, well, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, but that's a trend, dude. Like, I'm seeing more and more people talking about, oh, I'm listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Or have you heard this podcast?
And especially when you're going, like, for people going on long trips, like, they don't want to listen to music all the time. They listen to different
Right.
podcasts.
Informative stuff and entertaining stuff.
Yeah.
I don't get the whole storytelling crime ones that you listen
Hey,
to.
don't get into my shit,
That
bro.
shit is like hella
That's all
boring
me
to
right there. Yeah.
Fuck, I'd rather listen to like.
I like the
how can I-
psychology behind it, and they really explain it pretty well.
If you like that, my aunt, she does podcasts of storytelling.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, of
Really?
actual stories. Yeah.
like murder shit.
What is it called? Shout her
nice.
out. What is it
Yeah.
called?
Her name, you know what? I don't have it off my head. I'm gonna give it to Carlos. If you guys are kind enough to have that, that'll be super dope. But
Yeah,
yeah.
put it on there.
Oh yeah, brother. I mean, I like listening to that. Ricardo does it.
No, I just don't get it. Like, I don't want to know about the malicious mind of somebody. You know, malicious.
It's interesting.
The evil mind of somebody. Like, I don't really care. I want positivity. That's why I listen to positivity.
I mean, Carlos, you go to
know?
school. What do you think about people watching those stuff
The podcast that
about like murders and
True
like
crime ones?
serial killers and all that? Yeah.
I like them too,
See,
but
there you go.
I feel like there's a level that you should listen to it for, because eventually, for me, I noticed that I start to get paranoid if I listen to it too much.
Really?
Bro, I go to sleep to them.
So I'll listen to like one of them every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
because I listen to like, there's this one that I'm listening to currently, and it's called Invisible Choir.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've heard of it,
No.
but it's like super detailed, and like they have interviews and like police interviews, and it's
Oh
very-
well, yeah. You're breaking it down into something like that. No, this
yeah.
one, the one he
That's-
listened to was a crime story.
Oh, that's a different one. But I've listened to some of those too. Like, I guess because, like I said, I go to sleep to them because I can't fall asleep. So I'll just go on YouTube and I'll throw one on, like a documentary on fucking, say a serial killer. No, not
Bro, I
You
hope
get
nobody
nightmares,
says I go to sleep to your podcast. Like, holy shit. Wake the fuck up now.
It's just informative to me. Like, it,
Well, yeah,
it
I mean,
fascinates
like,
me to like
Each
think
his own.
about,
Each his own.
Think about how you're gonna kill. No, I'm sorry.
how to plan this shit out. No,
Hey, bro, I love you. All right.
There's
I got love for you.
it just
I don't
fascinates
care what I
me
said about you the other day.
how
Bro, I'm
people's
sorry.
minds work.
well, there's a lot of
Okay.
there's a lot of ideas that behind it, and a big one is like everybody's understanding and accepting of death.
Yeah.
That a lot of people who do listen to true crime, it's because they want to know and accept the fact that everybody's got to die, and part of being engaged in this stuff, it teaches you to just accept it, like that's life, and that is life.
I just want to know how to get rid of body. Just kidding.
That was deep. That was deep. That gave me a different insight on listening to that.
Why did
Not
I?
that I am.
Why did I just think about the song from Logic? I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
It's funny to hear what you guys are thinking about while he's saying something so deep, and you're over here thinking about a song.
Yeah,
I'm over
like
here,
a hip-hop
I'm over
song?
here listening to the message. I'm like, wow, that was deep.
That's
And you're over here
BS.
thinking about like, oh, how am I gonna hide that body? Jesus, bro.
I don't know, bro. I started thinking about like, especially when it's like detective point of view. Then I start thinking about it like, okay, you missed this, you missed that. Like I start kind of solving it myself.
Oh well, in hindsight, yeah, of course you would know, fool. But
No, I mean, like-
detective at the moment is like, there's so many avenues. You know what I mean? Like that shit must be hard. Anyways, crime stories. 2 thumbs down for me. Sorry, I'm not a viewer.
I
But
go
any business one, any tattoo one, any podcast about. Let's see what else.
But I think that's the beauty about podcasts. There's so many. Like I listen to not just that, but I listen to the business ones. I listen to
There's also self-help.
self motivational ones.
Like that's a big trend right now. Self-help ones, self-improvement. Those are my go-to. Like I want positivity again. Going back to that, but that's the beauty. Each his own. It's the power of YouTube. You go so niche. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why. And going. Good thing that's I brought that up. I think that's why we started a podcast, right? Because there really wasn't many podcasts talking about tattoos / business / tattoo industry. There wasn't many. Which ones at the time?
Some people started some, but they stopped.
I don't remember them. I thought
think-
Solon was
Solon
started
was
one,
one of
and I
them.
thought they were gonna be the best because
Didn't someone from San Bernardino start one too that we watched?
San Bernardino.
Because when we're thinking about the idea about to do it, we're like, well, let's research it. You know what I mean? Let's look
Yeah,
up.
like who's doing
Yeah,
it?
why don't you guys talk about how you guys got the idea of podcasting? Like, how did you guys come across with that concept?
So we're sitting
what motivated you?
we're sitting on the couch drinking a beer, and then I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, for myself, I knew that we had to do one before we even had a tattoo shop because of Gary Vee. You know, he said that back in 2015, 16. He's like, start a podcast is gonna be big, and I was like, that's a pretty cool idea. You know what I mean? I like to talk, so shit. You know, let's talk and record it. And so once we got together with Iconic, you know, you said, yeah, I'm down for it. I don't know what your, you know, primary thought was, but we just needed content.
To be honest, I didn't really know about podcasting at that point. You just brought it up. I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. You know, we got the space to do it now. Yeah. And then as we got that idea going, I started listening to different podcasts, and it just got me more and more interested into it. Yeah. You know, especially with my drive fucking.
Yeah, because where I used to work at 909 Jumps with my brother, I wanted to do like a YouTube channel with that, you know, but then I didn't follow through on that. But then I said, when we start Iconic, we're just going to go hard on it, you know what I mean? And we did the shop life, which was cool. And then I just saw that there was especially in the Inland Empire, you know, there was nobody was doing it. And especially for tattooing, you know? Yeah. And now there's like a popular one called IE Friends or something that's killing it, I guess.
Oh, the guys, yeah, they're pretty funny.
Yeah, I guess they're funny, and they're blowing up on TikTok. Yeah. So their marketing is legit.
Yeah,
you know, because they're blowing up. Let's try to get in it, dude. Let's contact them.
They're interesting. Like they I think for what they talk about is just everyday life.
Yeah, stories, right? Yeah. Like shit that we would just shoot the shit. Yeah, with drinking a beer, but like, oh, did you see what homeboy did with that girl? You know, oh, you know. But now it's in a podcast form. Because people like chisme, bro, you know? They love chisme. Especially chisme in English is rumors.
Gossip,
you know? Mm-hmm. But we're not that type. We're not the gossip. We're more informative, you know, and just trying to help people, you know? The IQ project, IQ's, you know, short for, or it's an acronym, right? Acronym for knowledge, or it's a... Mm-hmm. So we want to bring knowledge. Ya sabes. So that's why we started. We knew there was a need for that, and people need to learn about tattooing more so that can be more informed, right?
Yeah, I mean.
So you researched all the mics. I didn't do all that.
Yeah. So when we finally pulled the trigger, it was so me and Ricardo already started doing it. But we weren't consistent. We did it once.
Yeah, like we did it with our iPhone.
We did it with our iPhone, and then once we did it with our
one like this, and be like,
our iPad, and then we stopped for like 6 months, and then Carlos came into our life like a miracle.
You know? Walked in with his sexy legs.
Don't forget the hair.
Doesn't make miss leg day down.
We started talking about it, and then he was down to help us film it, and it started all falling into place at the right time.
Yeah.
So then me and Carlos sat down. We told him we're really serious about it. So me and him went to go shop and get all the stuff, the mics, the cords, the mixer you use.
The mixer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we started, it was just a phone and a phone stand, right?
Yeah. And
with a little connected mic, and then we just uploaded it to editing software, and we edited. We didn't even edit really. We just put it together. We didn't even have we had like a screenshot of IQ, right, project. Mm-hmm. And we just did that. We just started it. And when you just start a podcast, for those of you guys that you've been thinking about doing a podcast, just start it. Don't worry about perfecting the latest and the greatest, you know, because we didn't have this.
But actually, you look back now, like at the old ones, and it's pretty cool just looking at how we started like that.
And if we would have waited till we got all this fancy stuff and the fancy media guy that knows more about the mixing and the audio and all that, we wouldn't have been 20, 30 podcasts in.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you look back and you're like, yeah, you know, like I'm glad we did that. So that's one tip that we can give. Just start. If you always wanted to do some kind of a podcast, some kind of content on social media, just start. Just grab your phone. The phone is really good for that. It's going to be shitty at first, but you learn from that, you know, and you'll appreciate that. You'll probably like that one more than your fancy one, because it's like you're in that place. You remind yourself that day, that passion you wanted to talk to them about whatever subject you want to talk about. We love tattooing and we love business. Mm-hmm. So we talk about tattooing and business. We're not talking about how to get fit. Because
Not yet.
not yet, you know what I mean? Wait a little bit, you know? Just talk about what you know and be real. And that, I think we've been doing great at that. We're just real cats, you know?
I mean, we've been grabbing attention. You know, I mean, people have been looking. We've seen the algorithms on YouTube, and we've been getting a lot more views, especially on our older videos. They've gotten a lot of views, so that says a lot, you know. That actually feels like it pushes it a lot more, because now we actually feel like we have an audience right now. At first, we're just like, fuck, I don't know who's gonna listen to this, you know.
Right. And then one thing you did strategically that I thought was pretty smart was, because remember we started just looking at the camera, right? And that was like deer eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're like kind of like stuttering at times, because then we're like, oh, what do we say? And then you saw a podcast. What's the podcast called? The business one?
Real business owners.
Real business owners. You started seeing that one, and what did you notice there?
I noticed that instead of just looking at the camera, they put the cameras at the side like how we do now, and they sat right across from each other and just had a conversation.
And then the cameras are in the background, just recording it.
Exactly.
And that made it a lot. It's true. It made it a lot easier for us to have a podcast conversation and get it recorded, you know? Of course, we refer to the camera, so we know that we have viewers, you know, and we want to direct the messaging to them. But in a sense, that strategy alone has made us more comfortable, and we've been doing great podcasts after that, right? Yeah. Because, I mean, try to stare in the camera and, you know, do that, you're going to be like, well, you know, I don't want to say something stupid. But, so that's something that we learned like 13 podcasts in. You don't learn that the first time. So the point is, just start. That's why you should start a podcast. If you got that itch to say something, you want to talk about something. Whereas, like my mother-in-law, man, like he loves talking about space. He said there's so many topics you could talk about. So I said, start a podcast. You know, you could have so many, like you could even call it like, you know, Sunday Mars or something, you know? Monday Mars. Good one. And then you could talk about, you know, fun facts about it. He was telling me fun facts I didn't even know. Yeah. And I was like, damn, dude, you know? And even a previous client that I had, he talks about hip hop, how hip hop has changed, and it's not the same like in the 90s, like we started in the beginning of this podcast, you know? And I'm like, and he talks about he'll go with his friend that they want to start the podcast, and they'll just like drink beers and shoot the shit. And within that hour that they're shooting the shit, that could have been a good podcast. So I was like, just start it, dude. But he's like, no, but I need equipment. I said, bro, we started with the phone. Yeah. You know? And a year later, you know, we have 3 cameras. We have a media guy. We have an extra, you know, for the visuals.
Microphones.
Nice mics, you know? Cool little backlit, you know? But it didn't start like that. And we had a TV back in the first one, right? We just had like
we never used it.
Never really used it. So, you know, that's why. And why are they important? Why should you start them? Not everybody should start one. I mean, obviously, if you want to gain a community, you should start one. If you want to sell something, you should start one. And even if you want to entertain people, start one. If you don't have those 3 things that you want to do, then a podcast is not really for you. You know? That's what I think. So a podcast is a good way. And also, too, it's like a podcast is like natural conversations. So it doesn't take much. It doesn't take like talent to... No, let me rephrase that. It does take some kind of talent.
So you think a lot of people are not willing to start podcasts just because they feel like they're not ready with the equipment? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think it's deeper than that.
Because I feel like, for me personally, I feel like that's just an excuse for them. They're scared to start it. Because, like you said, anyone can just start with the phone. And I see people start with the phone and blow up.
Yeah. Right.
But I feel like...
They make an excuse?
I feel like that would be one excuse. We said it too.
But isn't that about life, though? Like, you know?
Yeah. So
I want to do this, but I'm not ready yet.
It's a mental thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not ready yet. Yeah. You're always going to be not ready.
Yeah.
But
if they want it bad enough,
yeah,
you know, they'll overcome those obstacles in their mind, that mental block, and just say, I'm gonna get it. You know, I hear a lot of times, I wanted to be a tattoo artist, you know, but I just stopped drawing and that. And well, then mentally you didn't overcome those blocks, because if you wanted to be a tattoo artist, you would have searched for a shop to look for apprenticeship, work for a year, then start tattooing. Like this guy, right? He had no excuses. He passed those mental blocks. He didn't have no excuses, and he did it.
Or if you didn't want to go the apprentice avenue, get out the mud. Same way you guys were grinding it out the garages and learning whatever way you can, or like many other artists, they didn't have an excuse. They still went and taught themselves, really.
So I feel like at the end of the day too, like it's just not about the equipment. It's more of a mental thing.
It's definitely a mental thing.
And I think once you surpass that mental thing, then you can get to the next step. Okay, you have what you want to talk about, then just do it. You know what I mean? Slowly you'll start growing little by little.
But also involved in the mental thing is that fear of judgment.
Yeah, that's a big one.
You're gonna be like, people are gonna be laughing at me for me saying what I think. Yeah. But I hardly ever, like, even if I don't agree with somebody in a podcast, I'm not like, you fucking idiot, making a dick out of yourself, Yeah. Like, no, I'm just like, all right, that's his thoughts. So that fear is just your own self, like, sabotage in a way. That fear of, it's because you're not confident in what you want to say. But if you tell the truth,
But I feel like starting as well builds, I think, again, it goes back to once you get past that first barrier, that whole confidence thing, as you're doing it, it grows. Because I feel like with this, it actually boosted our confidence. Like now we're able to talk about like what we want to talk about. We're not thinking about how people are thinking about us, or what we're saying, if it's wrong or if it's not PC for them. We don't give
cussing.
a fuck.
Like, we don't give a fuck.
But again, you go back to our first podcast, we're not talking like this. We're like,
no, we're like this.
We're like, so.
And my back was hurting after like 10 minutes. Right? Like,
yeah. Now we just let that gut out. We don't care.
Just let it hang out. Let it drop to the ground. Inside joke. No, you're right. Through repetition, right? Repetition and constant.
It goes back to like, we stopped for 2 months, right?
Yeah.
Did you feel a little rusty when you came
back?
Hell
yeah.
Did you feel a little rusty when you came back?
I was like, I'll wear the camera, and I was like always brushing the little mustache I have,
So then they just like screw what people think.
Yeah.
You have to overcome that first. But if you have problems with those mental blocks in your daily life, a podcast is that's just gonna make it worse. You have to overcome that and say, fuck what people say. This is what I want to do. And I want to talk, to the world through a camera. It's so easy now. It doesn't take a lot of equipment. I mean, the equipment we have can be probably under $1,500, maybe less, right?
Yeah.
It's maybe the setting. Maybe you don't have a setting, but
I've seen people do that out of their rooms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their closets. I have friends who do it out of their closets.
You could do it in your car, dude.
Yeah.
You can say car talk, car talk about money, car talk about space. I don't know. Like, it's all gimmicky. You can go in a library. You can go like in a park. That was weird, huh? Library. Be like, hey guys, welcome to my podcast. Shh. It's called Shh. Cállate. No. But anywhere, you can do it anywhere that's that you want to speak, and just a lot of people do it in cars. I've seen that. Just upload it.
I feel like that's the new one. It'd be transport, or what's it called? Being in a car, because I feel like in your car you have a lot more mental thoughts than you do.
And it's great for sound, right? Media guy? Your car? Yeah. It's really? Low-key a good...
I feel like it wouldn't be.
Well, not in your Jeep, because you have fucking... all these... You know what I mean? But if you really turn off all your stuff, in a car, it's just quiet because it's insulated.
I told you we should just get that Mercedes.
Which one?
The G-Wagon. The G-Wagon, we could do a podcast out of that. Write it off.
G-Wagon talk.
Write it off.
Tats and G-Wagon talk. I like it. Let's get it.
There you go.
All right.
You're getting it. He said it.
So yeah, man, and again, like podcasts, they're fun to do because you if you like to talk about your stuff, it just becomes easy, and you want to talk about different topics. So hopefully we're helping you guys and get motivated and starting your own.
I mean, Romeo, you've been too quiet now. What's some podcast you listen to, and why?
The only podcast, I don't have like a certain group of people that I go to. It's more of like, if I need help with something. For example, how to be more confident. I'll look that up on YouTube, and then I will find a podcast that has to do with that, and then just listen to that.
So self-motivating.
Yeah, or it could just be like how to, do a certain tattoo, find a podcast about that, and boom.
So you don't listen to some for entertainment?
No, it's not like I constantly tuning into one channel just to constantly watch it. That's just me.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's more of like what I want to learn. So it's like whatever I want to learn, I type that in.
Yeah, so you're more a knowledge person.
So you're searching for knowledge, which is one of them,
Yeah.
Other people search for entertainment. They don't really care about knowledge. They just want to hear people tell stories about funny things, you know? There was this, I like informative. I guess it falls into informative because I listen to like some guys called Earn Your Leisure. And it's just two African-American guys, and they're about the entrepreneurship. So they break it down like in street talk. So
Is that the one you sent me?
Yeah, about the taxes.
That was pretty
Bro,
good.
for an hour and a half, they dropped gems about how to save money on taxes. And I was like, and they simplified it so easy. They didn't use like complex terms. They're just like, bro, if you buy a G-Wagon, you can essentially the whole $200,000 that it costs, you can write that off if you made more than $200,000 that year. So that means you owe zero taxes. Boom. Like,
yeah, so he's like basically if you owe $200,000 in taxes and say okay, so you owe $100,000 in taxes, right? That you're gonna have to pay the government. Well, you go buy a G-Wagon, you only have to put $10,000 down, and then you can write off the full 100. So now you owe zero money on your taxes.
So you got the G-Wagon and you don't have to go pay the government, 33.5% of that 100,000 or whatever, you know? So you could have made, what's 33% of a million, 300,000. So you could have made like 800,000 in that year and just had zero taxes. And that's what people don't know, you know? But it has to be, it's not just a G-Wagon. I'm just using that as a reference because that's the popular saying right now. It's like the thing. But it's any car over 6,000 pounds. So that could be a Chevy 2500, It could be an Escalade. Something, obviously they cost more than 100,000. You can get a fucking Sprinter van that's heavy and use that to drive people around and charge and still get a write-off. Like, it doesn't have to be that G-Wagon, It's just the example. When he said that, I was like, damn, those are gems. And he brought it down to simple.
And I sent it to our other friends that run businesses too. I mean, and they learned a lot from it too. Yeah. They were very happy that we gave it to them.
Business, what is that one called you mentioned?
Real business owners.
Yeah, you get a lot of stuff from him, right? And to me, I try to listen to them, but
there's certain ones that are good, certain ones that are not. But what I liked about them is that they started around I think when COVID started, and they were just consistent. You know what I mean? Or they started right before COVID. They're consistent now. 2 years later, they blew up big.
Another one that I'm thinking about right now is the Passionate Few. This cat, he just interviews a bunch of heavy hitter entrepreneurs that are on YouTube. So his goal is to just find them and interview them, And now he has a business on how to create a podcast and go find those people because he was successful at that. And he's a real good interviewer,
So going back to like, why should you? Do you feel like people go into podcasting just for the passion of doing it, or because there's always an end game, like make a business out of it?
I think that's something they have to ask themselves, what their intentions are. Like deep down, they know if they want to, like, if they really like it, so they do it.
Personally, I feel like it just comes in. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think
you start doing YouTube, but a lot of people that do it obviously don't go just for the monetary. They're doing it because they like it, and then the monetary is an extra.
If you started to make money, you're gonna be really, really disappointed really fast. Yeah. Because you have to start. I believe everybody started because it was a passion of them, and then they just put in work and they refined it and it got better. That the plus of it, the benefits, is a monetary thing. You could sell something out of there. You can have a shirt line and say, "Hey, buy my shirts." Promotions. You can get a sponsor. Like, let's say we drink a lot of Red Bulls and Red Bull likes our stuff, and they wanna get into the tattoo community or coffee. We drink coffee. We get a sponsor and we can say, "Hey, this podcast is sponsored by them." That's where the monetary comes in. It's not from the views because, man, to get even like $1,000, you gotta have like 1 million views. Like that's pretty hard to do, you know?
Yeah.
You have to be trending, and maybe if we put this guy naked, you know, or something flexing, we might get some views or something, right?
Yeah.
Or all of us. No, just kidding.
There you go. Drop it back.
With this fool in his strap.
Yeah, so it's really, and you're not gonna like, and don't expect your first one to upload. Don't expect it to have a crazy amount of views, unless you're interviewing somebody like Jenny69 or something, you know. My point is that it's gonna take time, you know, and don't lose the what? The drive to do it. You have to set in your mind that this is a long game, you know. I mean, we're in like what 20 something plus podcast, maybe season 2, and we're starting to see some traction. And we knew that from the get. We didn't know we knew we were gonna.
This
blow
is
up
an
right away.
expand of 2 years.
Yeah, you know, and it takes an investment in our time, investment in paying for his talent over there. We're not tattooing this day. We could have made our day rate today. So add that up, and it becomes thousands of dollars that we're not injecting into our business or our wallet. You know, it's going into branding, and with the belief that in future will return and give us some.
That's where podcasts kind of becomes like, again, that platform to promote. You know what I mean? You promote. You guys seen our intro. We promote the shop. You know what I mean? It's sponsored by the shop. The shop paid for all this.
Yeah.
But why can't you promote other businesses? You know?
Yeah.
And we do that with
cross-promote.
our interviews. You know what I mean? Well, we just had a big interview that's going big right now. It's In Your Closet with Eva.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty good one. Go check that out.
That's pretty good. Shout out to Eva from In Your Closet.
She drops a lot of gems in there. A lot.
Yeah, especially for women that are like fashion, you know, and we
Wanna start a
felt that
brand.
they want to start their own business, but never heard. Maybe they heard 1 or 2 tips from there that they never asked anybody because they don't have access to anybody. Well, we just gave them that access, and they're welcome to contact her anytime. Say, hey, I saw you on the podcast. I would like to inquire more about how you did it because I like what you did. Same like if somebody says, I want to start a tattoo shop, they send us on DM. I saw your podcast, man. Can you give me some tips? You know, we're not gonna be like, hey, F off, you know. No, we can help you. Obviously, I don't have the time to guide you, but I can tell you like, hey, man, this is what you got to do first, you know.
Well, I think that's actually taking it back a little bit. That's one reason why we also started this podcast, because we want to give out information and knowledge about the tattoo industry. Because when we're trying to open the shop, nobody was trying to help us out. We had like 1 or 2 people that tried to help us out, but most of the time it was just us figuring it out.
Yeah.
Me fucking being on the internet, figuring out, okay, where do we have to go first? The county, the state, you know, the city.
Like there's no step-by-step manual.
Yeah, exactly.
We should make one, a step-by-step manual how to be a lot
good.
easy. $10.99.
Yeah. But yeah, like we had a few people. Defo, he helped us out a lot.
Defo Tattoo.
Any questions we had, he would tell us. Big Clint, you talked to him the most, but he helped us out a lot too. Like
He gave us some tips.
tips. But most of the time it's just us trying to figure out, okay, we went to the city, they're like, you can't come here until you go to the county first. And then from the county, oh, you can't do this until you go to fucking records to do this. You know, it's just
And people
a lot of
need that,
back
or
and
else they
forth.
start getting
Yeah.
lazier. It's like, oh fuck, I don't want to do this too much, you know.
Yeah, dude. It's
But if you have a step by step, okay, now I know what I need to exactly do.
But you know what's a trip, Romeo? Like even if we did a pamphlet or a step-by-step pamphlet how to start a tattoo shop, and we sell it or we give it away, people still will not use it because it requires a lot of work. It's easy to say I want to do this.
Yeah.
It's hard to actually execute it and take the time out of your day to drive to the county. Who the hell wants to go to the county?
waiting 2 hours.
You know, like those are the little nitty gritty things that decides the one that wants it and the one that just says they want to. And we come across a lot of people that say, I want to do this. I want to start a shirt line. Oh, really? Well, do you know Photoshop? Oh, no. Do you know about screen printing? Oh, no. But I want to start a shirt line. Do you have cash to throw into the business to start it? No. Well, you just want, but you don't have any preparedness to start it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it goes down to, but podcasting is one other method. It's not the method. It's not, the only way. There's different avenues to bring out content. And what did we hear about recently? That podcasting was going to happen in 10 years, you read?
Oh, that right now is barely the beginning of podcasting. I don't know exactly where I heard this. I know it was from a podcast I was listening to, but yeah, they're mentioning that it's just the beginning for podcasting. That within 10 years it's gonna blow up. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna be listening to podcasts.
I'm gonna say something right now so we can get it on record. Remember, Carlos, we talked about this. Like a good business to start right now is go get a retail space like this or a warehouse, divide it into suites, provide all the equipment for podcasting, and just let people come in, do their podcast, and go rent it for them. Give them a monthly rent, and they can come and bring whoever they want, and it's all insulated. That's a business to start because we're
already starting that, bro. It's called Iconic Studios.
Iconic Media Studios. Want to partner up, dog?
Iconic Mike.
Bro, I'm serious. Like it doesn't require much investment. Just the location, the equipment. We already know what to do.
Yeah,
you know. And then we just market the hell out of it.
You don't even need a lot of rooms. You just probably need like 2 or 3. Have them on a schedule. Okay, you come in at this time, you come in at this time, you come in at this time.
Yeah.
It's like a record studio, a recording studio.
Yeah, a recording studio, but for podcasting.
There you go.
And now with all this technology, you know what I mean? And you could say, all right, do you want us to provide our equipment, our media assistant or specialist, or do you want to bring in your own?
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to upsell. So, see, we're just thinking about an idea. You guys could have it. You're welcome to do it.
Do you want
whoever
drinks?
watches it, who's going to do it? Nobody. Because they like ideas. We like ideas. I'm not just throwing it out to people out there. I'm throwing an idea right now, but I'm not doing it. You know?
Yeah.
We can all think of ideas, but execution is. But like you said, just with that statement alone, 10 years from now, there's going to be such a demand for podcasts. There you go. There's an initial business. Do you believe in that idea? Then you invest in it. You know, I think we're going to invest in it.
Carlos, you in or what?
But I believe that statement.
It could be your office.
Let's do it.
I believe that statement because Gary Vee said that. You know, he's my mentor. No, I mention it all the time in my podcast, when I talk. Gary Vee's. I listen to what he sees because he understands the human psychology of business, and he said that a while back. Podcasting is gonna be a thing, and now I see it everywhere. There's podcasts. There's YouTube channels. There's every CEO that wants to be branded has a guy following them now with a camera that cares about it. Not everybody does, but that cares about being in the limelight, in the social media realm, whatever you want to call it. They invest.
It's exposure. Any exposure you get, especially right now, because like you said, a lot of things, people are getting hit with different things like in a minute, you know what I mean? Especially when you're on social media. So how do you stay ahead of the game? You expose yourself as much as you can by creating the content. So podcast is just another content to that.
And you know what's crazy now? Now, 10 years ago, this wasn't even a job for somebody.
Yeah.
You know, a media specialist. There wasn't a job for that. That was working for Channel 5, Channel 7, you know? Now, you can freelance doing podcasts and you know, and come in sexy shorts and show the legs, you know? And show the tattoos, right? And you can have a good living, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Carlos, give us your side of it. You know what I mean? From your perspective of the media manager, what do you think about this?
About what?
The whole podcasting. Like, where's it going to go? You think it's going to blow up?
Do you see it growing?
How do you feel about the whole media side of it?
Personally, I feel that it's just getting started and we're barely like touching the surface. And especially you guys and the field and the area that you guys are in, like that's huge for being the first people to actually doing it and continue doing it. Because I know you guys have mentioned that a lot of people have started, but then they just stop. And it could be for whatever reason. But I feel like, in my perspective, that people stop is because the tattooing consumes their lives and then they forget about the side stuff. So you guys have set a day every week that you say, this is the day that we're going to podcast. And you guys have been consistent. And I think you're going to grow with the flow of podcasting. Like, I think in the next 2-3 years, you guys are going to be up there.
Yeah.
Bam. Repeat that one again. Like, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. We set a date. Like Mondays, it's podcast day.
Yeah.
You know? And if people say, hey, can tattoo on Monday? No, that's podcast day. Like we made room for that day. We didn't say, we'll schedule in when we can. We made the effort to do that so that we can be consistent about it. And that's a good point, Carlos, you know? And that, I think that's what you need to do. You need to make a day for it and give it that time.
Make it a job. Yeah. Make it a job, you know? It's not a job yet, but make it a job. Give yourself a day that you're going to work on it for sure.
And it's something you're going to love to do, so it's not going to become a job. Like, I look forward to this Monday. It's a break in my tattooing, you know?
I mean, you guys don't see the beginning, but we're in here setting up. Well, we set up these two guys are over here flowing.
Oh, yeah, we have a new segment called Flow with Romeo and Rickytatt.
So the way we loosen up when we walk in is, you know, because I drive far, Romeo drives far, Ricky's barely waking up. So
I don't drive far.
So when we get in here, we're like a little like just tired, you know, we're kind of grouchy, you know.
Groggy, yeah.
Groggy.
Or groggy. Yeah.
So
1G.
So we over here, Romeo got a good idea. Let's start rapping. You know what I mean? I'm still learning, but these two got it.
Yeah, this guy had to pull it out of me. Like, let's
in Espanol.
Español.
Hey, but you tried it.
I tried
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that
you're getting better, yeah.
And that trying it more is gonna loosen you up more and care less, you know, about just being goofy. And then that's gonna translate to you being a better podcaster.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's another thing too. Like, one thing for me too, the reason why I like to look at other podcasts and see how people are doing it, because I want to learn how to become better at it.
Yeah.
So like, I actually do look at this, how people talk and how, like the whole transitions between segments in between the podcast. Like, Joe Rogan does an amazing job at being able to talk to someone, interview someone, and then be able to throw questions back at them. You know what I mean? Or change the subject real quick if he doesn't want to talk about something. So I know that's something like, unless you're doing a podcast, you don't really think about it.
Yeah.
But now that we are doing this, I started looking more into that, and I started watching videos of people breaking it down how he does it. And it's really interesting too.
And you are getting better at it, because when we have interviews, like, you do have good questions about them, and that's asking the right questions is what keeps the podcast going. Because you know, after that, like, okay, what we could talk about? Like, we're just gonna look at each other, you know?
Yeah, we're trying to guide it so that you don't have that awkward silence. Or
something. But yeah, so I look into that too now. When I'm looking at podcasts, I'm like, oh man, that guy's asking good questions. You know, the flow is right.
Yeah.
You know, if there's awkwardness, then you'll be like, I lost interest already. You know?
That's true. Phone on silent, homie.
I thought about something. I don't know how to go there. So yeah, podcasting is a good method. If you guys ever thought about it, it's been in your head, ask us questions. You know, send us a DM, send us a email. You know, type it in the comment section. You know, and see what you guys think. Were we right? So maybe there's some of you that have a podcast already, and you guys are killing it. Give us some advice. We're not saying we're doing it the best. We're just saying we're doing it our way. You know, what we know, and we're always willing to learn more, and we're always willing to show to people that are just starting.
Yeah.
You know, we got a year in, so we can talk about a year experience.
And if you have questions for Carlos as well, how he does things, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind answering, right?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
like if we would pan the camera to his setup, like it looks legit, you know? It looks like all this gadgets and stuff back there, but it's not like this big studio.
Yeah.
That's the power of technology now. It's shrunk down to some portable stuff that he can literally say, all right, guys, I'm out of Iconic now. I'm going to go do another place, you know, another business. And he just packs up and goes all in his little bag. Before, you'd have to have a big studio with everything. Now it's all compatible. So it's out there, guys. You know, search for it. It's all can be purchased on Amazon too. You know what I'm saying?
Sponsor us, Amazon.
Sponsor us, Amazon, please. You want me to say the word sexy? Amazon. Amazon. What else you guys want to talk about?
Well, wrapping it up.
Want to wrap it up?
Wrap it up, Romeo. I think it should be good for today.
Yeah, you know what we do? It would be dope to end it just to say goodbye. Like, just read off those questions that people have. We should do that before we start. Like, make it a habit. Hey, you guys have any questions so we can answer at the end of the podcast?
Oh yeah, for sure. So,
yeah.
So you know, viewers, if you guys have questions, you know, send them on this one, and we'll take a look at them.
It could be anything.
And yeah,
Anything.
You know,
Yeah,
what does Romeo like to wear on Sunday?
How
you know?
tall is Rickytatt? You know, or yeah.
Am I tripoding it?
But yeah, I think we should post this on Instagram too as well. Like get questions from them and smart
exactly.
answer it on the.
So yeah, we could do that. Like 3 days before or something. Hey, we're gonna have a podcast on Monday.
We'll write them all
Give us
down.
some questions so we'll know. So
Yeah, we just answer them. I think that's a smart idea. Good job. All right, go ahead and end it, Romeo.
All right, guys. No,
all right, guys.
no, thanks for tuning in to IQ Project
Podcast.
Leave a like, comment, let us know what we should talk about next, and give us a follow on Instagram. And see you guys on the next one.
We're also on Spotify though. Now we're on Spotify.
yeah.
Mention that.
We're
on
Josh
Spotify.
mentioned that.
iTunes.
You're the
Yeah.
And iTunes.
And iTunes.
and iTunes.
Yeah, so we're on Spotify and iTunes now.
What do we search for to find it now?
Carlos?
You gotta search the IQ Project podcast.
There you go.
Carlos, bring it on a link here. Right here
I'll add a link in the description.
in the description. But even in the visuals too, so they can see it. Because sometimes people are lazy and they don't read that.
Yeah.
But we're now after 2 years, we're finally on there now. Now it's gonna be audio just only, so you can work out and listen to our sexy voice. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? So.
And Spotify's free. You don't have to pay for it. You just download it and just play it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to it now all the time. All right, guys. Thank you for watching us.
Later.
We out
See you
and
guys on
see you
the
on the
next
next one.
Peace.